July 26th, part 3, Colorado shooting, new information. The new information I'm talking about in these 3 videos, as HRM, Caesar St. Augustine de Buonaparte, Emperor of the United States of Turtle Island, the renamed United States of America when I overthrew it in October of 1996, in the name of all the innocent children that have died in Afghanistan, Iraq, Vietnam, Panama. You know, somebody walks into this theater and shoots a bunch of people. They make a big deal about it. Friendly fire happens in another country. They don't even want to mention it. They want to keep it secret. Who really needs to be on trial? The killer James Holmes, or every citizen in the United States for collectively paying money into a country, supporting a country, keeping alive a country that practices continual hypocrisy, lies, prejudicial application of laws, violent. You take menial laws and you run people into court over them. You're all sick. You really are. And you just don't get it. You don't want to get it. So, I've also said in all my other videos that whenever your society does bad things to me, worse things happen in the outside world. Coincidental. You can claim that all you want to. But until you have proof that it's coincidental, or I have proof that it's not coincidental, it's just a dumb argument. Now, reporters are real sneaky at being able to make people look crazy and wacky. They can put you and edit you. They can record stuff off of YouTube. And they can. I've given them enough ammunition that they could make me say all kinds of things. So I beat them to the punch by saying, you deserve the shootings in Colorado. You deserve, the congresswoman deserved to get shot. The innocent children that were shot, they all deserve to get shot. Why? Because you have a country with the wrong people in power. It's that simple. At the state, federal, and local level, you don't have the right people in power. And I don't think you ever will. Like I said, I'm convinced that there probably is some kind of invisible anomalies that literally get their jollies off of watching us die, watching us cause pain on each other, and take property from each other, using the color of law to do it, auction everybody's stuff off, you know, changing the personality of a person. When you take their personal property, changes their personality. It makes them care less and less about anything they own. And I think that's one of the things that the government or the New World Order is trying to do. When you lose a car to an unfair traffic stop, an unfair towaway, when you lose your property, the way I've lost my property over and over and over again, just by people meddling in my life, interfering in my life, interrupting my ability to save money, they just wipe me out. And I'm still being wiped out as we speak today. Between now and the 31st, next Wednesday, this coming next Wednesday, I have to be empty out of this one storage. And on the 31st, I'm in danger of having the main storage that I did not want to go to auction is in danger of being auctioned off on Wednesday. And nobody's coming to help. Nobody's pulling up a semi to storage, etc., and saying, Caesar, we're here to pay all your bills off. We'd like to relocate you someplace else, because obviously Los Angeles is the prime culprit here. They have done the most damage to you, and we need to get you out of there. Well, where would I go? They've taken all of the valuable things that I own. I still have some things that I want to take with me, but now that they've done so much damage, anything I collect, it doesn't matter what it is, I want to take all of it with me. I don't deserve, and you don't deserve, and you don't have the right to have me as a forced citizen. I don't want to be a citizen in this country. I don't want to be here. I have never, at more than 20 years ago, I didn't want to be here. But I changed my mind and I started working on my Shangri-La project that I wanted to make in Colorado over there, and you people destroyed it. And maybe it's fitting. You people destroyed, you people of Colorado, I send you this message. This country destroyed me and took and meddled in my life so much that I lost my 240 acres, not once, twice, just off Highway 17, twice, because of meddling by your authority figures in Los Angeles. So since I lost my property and I lost my chance to build my giant new United States of America, an example city and community that would have shown what it really is like to be an American citizen when you live up to the Constitution as it was written, with new additions by me to that Constitution, because there's a lot of flaws in that Constitution as it was originally written. I don't want to look at the amendments anymore. They're all garbage. I want to rewrite them completely. But I would have started a new country, an experimental city that would have shown everybody in the world what America is really supposed to be like. But I was destroyed. And you know, I was doing that on fixed budget income. I was doing that on less than $1,000 a day. And every time I built myself up, you people hurt me, and I lost all that money investment. Over and over and over and over again, over more than 20 years. I'm not kidding you. I'm telling you the truth. Your government, state, federal, and local, destroyed my life. Los Angeles being the main culprit. So, of course, in my view, Colorado deserves the violence. Because that's not the only violence that has happened in Colorado. There's other violence that has happened there. So you deserve the violence. After all, I lost my 40 acres. Is my property in Colorado where I was going to build Shangri-La? If I'd been left alone, listen to this. All of my history would have been different. Maybe some of those people, maybe even every one of the people in that theater would have heard about my new place in Colorado and would have driven down there. I just out of curiosity, just to find out. I want to meet this guy who claims he's emperor, and he has this fantastic city there, and he's built this beautiful quarter racehorsing ranch, and he has all this stuff, and he wants to share it with intelligent people, because I'm sure there were intelligent people in that theater. And so all of history would have been different. Those people never would have died. Maybe the James Holmes thing would, maybe James Holmes would have ended up there at my city, working in the neuroscience area. Maybe all of that would have been different if only you had left me alone. But you messed with the future by screwing with the present and the past. You messed with it. Your tax dollars. You're waving that crappy United States flag. You know, when I got there to Colorado, I was going to make my own flag, a new flag for the new America. I didn't want that red, white, and blue flag. All that represents is what the comic book Addicted to War represents. The encroachment of the Founding Fathers on the native people of this country, the encroachment of your laws, your regulations, and the encroachments of your wars, your slavery, your death, your destruction. And then you may force me to be here as a prisoner, keeping me on the street instead of somebody coming forward and say, I want to help this guy. There should be tears in your eyes for me, for the damage that you people have done to me. I can't cry anymore. That's how much damage you've done to me. There is not a tear left in me. I don't shed a tear. I don't think about those people dying in that theater at all. I have no sympathy at all. You know why? Because your country interfered with me. Ball's in your court. How many of you are going to come help me? How many of you would want to build a model city somewhere preferably on Indian reservation, because that's a nation on its own. That's still sacred ground, and the U.S. government should not be allowed on any Indian reservations whatsoever. Not even the Bureau of Indian Affairs. They're full of crap. So, to build that place, and then have only certain selected people come in and see, this is what you need to do that's right. And everything you're doing out there is wrong. We don't want anything to do with you. Why would an advanced civilization like what I wanted to build over there, and I was doing it on a shoestring budget. I had all the second-hand makings to drill for geothermal activity over there in Colorado, to get my own generators, to make something happen. I had all the makings. By 2001, I had all of it. 24 cars, 3 buses, 26-foot sailboat, 3 speedboats, 12 motorcycles, 20 cars, and trucks and boats. I had everything, and every one of them were filled with secondhand stuff. Oh, the city called it junk. Oh, you got nothing but junk there. Why do you keep all that stuff there? Well, because I plan to move out of California, because California is a crazy place. It'll fall into the ocean anyway someday. I want to make it in Colorado on high ground, so that if something bad does happen, my people are safe. I just said a secret word, didn't I? My people are safe. Now you got to ask yourself, this guy claims he's emperor. Who are his people? Specially selected people who have had the proper education. I put an ad in the Recycler in 1986 saying, Shangri-La, new experimental health resort being built in the mountains of Colorado. Need multi-talented people to apply. My phone rang off the hook. Day and night. That's how many people wanted out of this crazy place. So anybody that goes on TV and says, I love L.A., they gotta be crazy, because only a nutty person would live here. I was only here because this is where they throw away a lot of stuff, and since I'm poor, I didn't have the ability to build something with nothing, so I just collected secondhand stuff, saying, well, I can use this for that, since I used to do movie props and help with movie studio sets, so I do know how to build. And I said, well, I could do this, and I can save this for do that. Kitchen sinks, bathtubs, I didn't save. I could, I can buy those there in Colorado or whatever, or find them there. That's easy to find. But the hard stuff, and then the museum I was going to build there, that was going to be a museum to end all museums on the planet. But you people destroyed that. But worse, when I was finished building Shangri-La, I'm not going to be done. There was one other project that I always wanted to do. And it was from seeing all the Santa Claus movies that I had seen when I was growing up as a kid. And I said, I'm going to do something so fantastic for kids on Christmas that it's going to blow everybody's mind. But you know what? I'm not going to tell you what it was going to be. But I'll tell you this much. You hurt every child from the past, present, and every child in the future by letting Los Angeles do this to me. Children are special because they're only contaminated when adults who aren't properly educated, and I'm not talking academically, I'm talking emotional IQ, when they're not properly educated. And I'm not talking child services. Child services is worse than hell. They are evil. All they do, they get up to $120,000 for every child they place in a foster home from the federal government. So it's a scam, all of it. So I've seen and have been through all that stuff. Who deserves to be president? The person who's been the most abused, the person who has seen it all. That's the person who should be interviewed. Unedited, uncensored. And remember what I said about the media. I said that was one of my predictions. I'm not going to get interviewed by any of the media, personally, in live interview. Will never be done with me until I get paid the same amount of money that Zapruder got paid for the Kennedy assassination. Remember? Colorado shooting? I said that years ago. And I kept saying that. Film, theater, shooting. Connect the dots, ladies and gentlemen. And then I made that comment about enjoy the earthquakes and the solar flares. Solar flares, connection to the word Aurora, the town of Aurora. Now the government has to worry about putting watchdogs at least 20 cities in the United States. Because if the guy did have a mental imbalance problem, maybe there'll be another shooting in another Aurora, because there's 20 cities in Los Angeles, not Los Angeles, I'm in the United States, that go by the name Aurora. Except for, the 20th one is Auroraville in Alaska. But that doesn't mean that there won't be shootings there. Mass shootings like this. So I've done part 3 of the video, and I've told you what Los Angeles destroyed and why these violent things happen to you. Maybe on a metaphysical level, on the 99th monkey philosophy level, on a quantum matrix level, on the dark matter matrix level, maybe on invisible communication takes place between people. And they hear all this pain and suffering, and they go do something like this. They don't know it consciously, they just know it subconsciously. It's just something to throw around and think about.